Then let's just think big, right? What does the ideal mission to the moon look like? And then we'll bring it to Claire and then to Mike.
So the beauty of the moon, again, because of its proximity, the fact that it's so close, the fact you can kind of wear training wheels for the whole thing, is that there is no ideal mission, and there's missions of every size and shape you can do. That's why from anything like a huge government-funded mega rocket to a little tiny CubeSat can go and do cool science and make meaningful progress on the moon. That's what makes it so appealing and exciting. There's no one size fits all for this. And that's why it's not just the U.S. that's interested in going to the moon. It's also China, Japan, Korea, Europe, Russia, right? It's a huge list of countries because it's all within our grasp because it's so close. And so if you're thinking about building a coalition and sharing the weight and not having, to make these ridiculous, not that ridiculous, but seemingly ridiculous expenditures to go there, it's one solution. I would say though that my personal ideal mission would be something that really played to the moon's strengths, right? So that's something that is that's going to take advantage of what's called in the field ISRU. Sorry for the acronym. It means in situ resource utilization, which is even worse to say. Basically, it means you live off the land in the same way that like when you went in a covered wagon out west. In that manifest destiny kind of bullshit period of U.S. history, you do things like, you're going to shoot your dinner and get it. You can't. There's no big bears to shoot on the Oregon Trail on the moon, right? But you can do things like, again, get potable water and energy and electricity and do things like build your buildings and habitats out of sintered moon dust that's been processed using electricity through solar power. You can build things in lava tubes, and you're so close to home. If everything goes wrong, you can basically hop in a rocket and get back in a matter of days. It takes 2 years if you want to get back from Mars because of the way the planets align. So every 2 years, that's when you have a launch opportunity. So if you get appendicitis or something on Mars, you're in a bad place. Hold on for 2 years, buddy. And also similarly light time, light travel time, how long it takes to communicate. It's a 3-second lag. I can go, hey, what's up there, moon? 1, 2, 3. Oh, hey, we're cool here, right? For Mars, that's going to take anywhere between like 5 and I think 25 minutes. So round trip time, you're actually talking more like 10 minutes or nearly an hour just to say, hey, what's up? I'm not going to wait, right? You get the idea. And it's way longer for Europa. So
Claire, are you going to take this? You have to.
So the ideal mission is just going to be something that utilizes and develops the moon's resources to let us build a sustainable presence there, from which we can do any number of other things. Again, it's all about expanding our capabilities, using the resource that we have there. So that would be things like going to the poles, looking at the craters, finding out how much ice is there, figuring out how we can get it, and trying to build a freaking moon base.
All right, well, let's hear what Mars's ideal mission would be next.
Yeah, well, we have some resources that we can in situ utilize as well. And the difference is that we can then do some cool science while we're there.
Oh, snap.
Burn. No, I mean, an ideal Mars mission, I guess it looks a lot like Matt Damon in The Martian without all the screw-ups. But basically, I mean, you have the chance to really live there, to build these little bubble houses and grow some crops and rove around in little buggies. And I think that's the really awesome thing is that we've sent people on little trips, little joyrides, but we have never sent people to live anywhere. And Mars is the place to do it because if we could actually establish a base there, the science we could do is really unbelievable. I mean, we have really strong evidence that below the surface there's maybe water, there's ice. We think that in the past Mars was very much like Earth, was potentially very habitable, had actual flowing oceans of water, had an atmosphere, and there's every reason to think that there might be fossilized evidence of microbial life just waiting for us to dig in and dig it up and find it. And if we could actually establish a long-term base there, we would have the ability to answer that question once and for all.
So this is like the world's coolest, and by the world I mean like the solar system's coolest archaeological dig we'd be doing.
Exactly.
Well, Mike, you've been quiet for a while, so let's hear about Europa.
Well, and you want me to talk about the ideal mission?
Yeah, what is it like?
Ideal mission, first of all, is not going to send people there because it is fantastically expensive and dangerous to send people. And as we make remarkable progress, you've got to read Scientific American to find out how much progress we are making in artificial intelligence. We've got computers that can beat masters at the ancient game of Go and beat people in chess. The number of things that artificially intelligent systems are able to do now is spectacular, and it's growing exponentially. So, sending people 300 million miles, don't have to do it. Don't have to even think about it. You can send robotic probes out to Europa for actually less cost than sending people even to the moon. You land on Europa, you either drill down or melt down through the thick layer of ice. I'm not saying these things are easy, but you can do it. Once you're in that ocean, you've got either a rover that crawls along the underside of the ice. I've seen prototypes of those up in Alaska, looking for evidence of life clinging to the bottom of the ice. You have a little submarine that can go swimming around, and you're not talking about oceans that were there billions of years ago. They're there right now. You're talking about places where life is not. If it ever existed, you don't have to look for fossils and archaeology, and gee, wouldn't it have been nice to see that stuff when it was alive? If life is as ubiquitous as we think it is, there's a chance that you would find actual organisms swimming around in that ocean, and you could do it during Lee's lifetime, maybe even during mine, because we basically have the technology to do this, as long as we're not trying to send humans. So that's the ideal mission. Robotic mission to Europa, drill or melt through the ice, swim around there. You can do this within the next 15 or 20 years if we decided to do it.
So what are some of the most